Well, it's almost 4 weeks since the workshop. Congratulations for getting this far. Hopefully you're feeling fitter, trimmer and more energetic than you were 4 weeks ago. The question many of you will have now is, what now? PJ is going to take a few minutes to take you through what you can do with your guidelines from now on so that you can continue to see results for the long term.
Thanks, Nadine. For a lot of you, the last 4 weeks has seen a lot of changes. You've been eating and drinking less of the things that are damaging to your health and more of the things that are optimal for your health. Many of you will have been training more consistently and moving more, and hopefully you haven't forgotten the forgotten factors and you've been getting more sleep, stressing less, and you've been making time to get out in the sun, spend some time with friends, and making time for the things that you enjoy. Now, it's important to recognise when we look at the results that you've achieved over the 4 weeks, so the way clothes are fitting, what you're seeing on the scales, what you're seeing in the mirror, your energy levels, your performance in the gym, it's important to recognise that the improvements there are directly attributable to the changes that you've made over this 4 weeks. So what happens now? The 4 weeks has come to an end, and the beyond period of the 4-week intensive and beyond is commencing. In the past, we've generally seen one of two things happen. Now, I want to show you a couple of examples of those. So, client 1, I'll just show you on this graph here, has done the 4-week intensive 3 times. They're those orange periods there. The red line is their fat mass. You can see that each time they've done the 4-week intensive, they've actually gotten quite good results. They've set good guidelines and their bodies have responded to that. But then afterwards, they haven't been able to maintain the changes that they made, and their behaviours and subsequently their body composition and their fat mass shot back up again. Now, client 2, on the other hand, they've also done the 4-week intensive in this orange period, but you can see that they were able to sustain the guidelines that they set for themselves, and their good results have continued on, so they haven't had that bounce back effect. So you're really, having just done the 4-week intensive, you're in a unique and exciting position where you've already made the difficult adjustments, and it's now time to weigh up what guidelines you're going to stick to as per the 4 weeks and what guidelines may need moderating a little. For you, you may feel that you can continue on exactly as per the 4 weeks. If that's the case, then go for it. Others may feel the need to moderate their guidelines slightly to make them more sustainable. Now, we've got a little process that I'd like to talk you through to help you do that. We'd really want to find that sweet spot where your guidelines are, strict enough to be still moving you forward towards what you're wanting to achieve, but realistic enough to be sustainable in the long term. The first step is it's important to reflect on what guidelines had the biggest impact on your results during the 4-week intensive. So I'm going to use an example of alcohol intake. So for this theoretical person, that was the thing that had the biggest impact on their results. So next you need to have a good look at what you were doing pre-4-week intensive and compare that against what you were doing after the 4-week intensive for that guidelines. So for the example that we've got, this person was having 15 drinks per week before the 4-week intensive, and during the 4-week intensive, they completely eliminated those guidelines. So finally, that person has decided that that's not realistic for them to never drink again. So they're going to set the more moderate guideline of 5 standard drinks per week. So that's just an arbitrary number that I came up with. When setting that guideline, it's important that it be as close as possible to your 4-week intensive guideline, because that's the behaviour that led you to getting the good results, and that's what you want to continue. So this process can be repeated with the other guidelines that you've set yourself during the 4 weeks, looking at the guideline, looking at what you were doing before the 4-week intensive, what changes that you made, and trying to stay as close to the 4-week intensive as you can. So before I go, I just want to congratulate you again for getting this far. Remember, nobody's perfect and you are going to have slip-ups. That's okay. You're only ever 1 meal away from getting back on track. So keep it going. If you have any questions, let me know, and the best of luck in continuing on with your new healthy ways. Thank you.